Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Courtney from Dandelion Branding. So this month's niche spotlight is all about sustainable children's goods. Over on our blog, we talked about how to best target the audience for your sustainable children's goods and ways to communicate with them and types of content that best resonate with them. So in this video, we're going to be talking about ways in which you can structure your website to best visually communicate with this potential consumer, and also ways in which you can optimize your user experience as a whole to really drive home sales. Particularly with this niche, it's incredibly important to think about the full user experience, and here's why. Consider the life of a new parent or a soon-to-be new parent. How exciting and stressful and overwhelming and scary and intimidating is this part of your life? Very, right? So this context is important when you are considering ways in which you can optimize the user experience of your site. You need to consider the life of your potential consumer when you are considering how to best market to them. Would a busy mom have time to click away from a bunch of pop-ups, or have to wait for different graphics or elements to load on your site, or potentially have to create a customer account before even browsing on your site? Some of these small changes can have tremendous effects on how someone interprets their experience on your website, and just by making a few subtle adjustments, you can really set yourself up to have a better relationship with them. So what do these consumers really need? Well, here are the top 6 necessities you should incorporate into your site if you are selling anything that falls under the category of eco-friendly children's goods. Number 1 is simplicity. I can't stress this one enough. Always make sure that your online store is as easy and simple to use as possible. Ensure that you're setting it up in a way that it is easily understandable and completely digestible for someone who has never heard of you and never heard of your brand before. Consumers have a record low attention span, and if all of their questions about your brand aren't answered within the first 20 seconds or so of visiting your website, you are most likely going to miss out on this sale. So be sure to always include the most relevant information about who you are and what you sell on the front page of your website, and make sure it is front and center always. Now, don't get me wrong, simplicity does not mean plain or basic or like a template. Quite the opposite. Especially with this niche, you'll want to have fun and be creative and use bright imagery and be quite whimsical and nostalgic with the way that your site is designed. But what I mean by simplicity is that your site is free from any elements that really don't add to the user's full experience and don't offer any sort of positive value when a customer is browsing around and just shopping on your site. Some examples of these elements are like pop-ups, or I've seen one a lot recently that's like a slider that allows the user to spin the wheel to get a discount. It's sort of like a pop-up. It's supposed to be like a game. It's supposed to be interactive, but it's really just quite distracting. Other things like widget pop-ups or countdown timers, or things that are visually distracting and may make the user feel overwhelmed or rushed. These are the elements that I'm referring to when I say that this store that you're building should be more on the simple side. You can definitely still have really fun, exciting graphic elements of your store, but when it comes to these sort of additional add-ons or widgets or apps, you'll want to keep things fairly simple. So number 2 is one that I've also said before. If you've watched any of our previous videos, this is one that I mention often, and I will continue to mention it because it is something that a lot of e-com entrepreneurs still struggle with, and that is making a clear and concise and well organized navigation menu. If the items in your store are not properly organized into the collections that are intuitive for the browser, you are very likely to lose out on that potential sale. A navigation menu is one of the only things that helps your consumer to understand the full scope of the products that you're selling. If this information is unclear or unorganized or mixed up, out of order, or if items are just not in proper categories, your consumers are going to have a bad time. So just be sure to be really thoughtful about how this is organized and try to put like items in different collections, and don't be afraid to have the same items in multiple collections, especially if you don't have a large volume of products. If there are similarities in type or size or use, then you can definitely categorize things in multiple collections and spread them out for your users who may be interested in some of those different aspects of the particular products. Next up is ensuring that all of your product pages are well written and include all of the relevant information that consumers may want to know. We just put out a video all about this, so I'll link it up here as well as in the description box, and hopefully you check that out and find that helpful. It is a list of all the elements that we feel are most important to have on a product description page. And particularly when selling sustainable products or eco-friendly products, your customers are going to have a lot of questions, and you're going to want to give your consumers as much information as possible in a really digestible way. And so by making sure that your product pages are very well written and concise, you'll have a much better chance of converting them into a sale. Next up is having a generous return or exchange policy. And this is one that some new entrepreneurs may not want to hear, because it is some cost that you are going to have to eat as a business, that you will encounter it. Having policies that really show that you are personable and understanding can be tremendously beneficial, especially when it comes to selling products for children. If we consider again who it is that is purchasing these items, it is most likely parents, and they are extremely busy. So you want to be respectful of their time and energy when it comes to interacting with your brand. And so by having more generous return or exchange policies, you'll be really putting out a good face for your business, and also ensuring that your customers have a better experience with you overall if any issues may arise. And on that same note, the 5th item is having a really friendly and personable customer support department. If that is just you, then that's totally fine. Or if you have a team of folks that are working for you, definitely be sure to make your customer support policies equally as understanding and flexible as possible. If we consider this potential consumer, and you are taking what could have been a potentially quite negative experience, having to return or exchange something, or maybe a package never arrived, something already a bit frustrating on the customer's end, if you are able to flip that and ensure that they have a positive experience in the end, you are definitely going to win over this customer. This is the type of customer that may very well tell their friends, their family, their neighbors about this good experience that they had. And they're also more likely to mention something on social media about how you wowed them with this amazing experience and your ability to flip a potentially negative situation into something that really worked out for them. And I understand that that can be a bit of an investment up front, but if done correctly, you can really ensure that you are hooking this customer and you're really setting yourself up to have that customer for life. And last but not least, when it comes to the full customer experience, we have to remember that receiving the physical product is absolutely a part of the full experience with your brand. And so being mindful of your packaging and how the product arrives to the consumer will really set you apart from competition. Especially if you're selling eco-friendly products or products for children, you want to make sure that your packaging is as free of unnecessary plastics as possible. Not only is this not sustainable, but it could be potentially hazardous. And by being thoughtful about these little things, you're just showing how much you care about your consumer and how much you understand their life and the things that they may struggle with. This level of understanding and trust that you can build with your potential customer is truly invaluable. And that's something that you can really kind of non-verbally communicate through the way that your package arrives. So those were the 6 key necessities to incorporate or to be conscious of when you are building an eco-friendly children's brand. If you are going to be selling any of these types of products online, these elements are definitely something that you should always keep in mind and continue to be mindful of as you grow and expand your business. So we hope that this list was helpful. If you enjoyed, give us a like or subscribe. We'd appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.